Okay, welcome everyone. I'm still waiting. A couple of you not join, so just, welcome. Today we are doing second lesson on business environment, unit 2. So that's your unit, business environment, where we are going to learn about LO-2, and our discussion will be focused about LO-2. So explain how market structure determine the pricing and output decision of the business, illustrate the way in which the market forces shape the organization responses, judge how the business and the culture environment shape the business behavior. When we look further down, and we'll go LO2, all about understanding the nature of the national environment in which businesses operate. So explain how the economic system attempt all the resources effectively, assess the impact of fiscal and monetary policy. So today our major discussion will be on the fiscal and monetary policy. Anybody knows what is meant by fiscal? Fiscal policy is the policy of the government, and monetary policy of the central bank, so which I'll go through with you in more details. Impact of the competition and other regulatory mechanism on the activities of a selected organization. The organization you can select, like I have included the case of McCain's Food, which you can go through the case study as well, and we'll go through during our lesson. So these are all the key points will be focused in our discussion. How economic system allocate the resources, effective use of distribution of resources, supply demands, matching types of economic system, situated, command, free, enterprise, mixed, transitional, and all GDP, GNPs, public finances, and all discussion will be focused. How impact on the monetary and fiscal policies on organization behaviors, consumer behaviors. So our discussion will be, and we'll go through some sort of legislation as well. Competition Commission, you maybe recently heard about ASDA, and in UK ASDA and Sainsbury, those are quite big, supermarket. They're going to merge it, and Competition Commission Act, and the Competition Commission is looking, how this will be create a monopoly, because monopoly is always against, monopolistic competition is always monopolistic, is only few firms control it. That's, is quite harm for the organization. So that's we need to look around. We'll go through some sort of, these legislations as well. Company Act, OTHM is called, Office of the Gas and Electricity Market, which we'll go through as well. Our discussion will be depend upon the nature of the organization, which sector or which company you're working, and we need to look around the legislation. Those are relevant to them. So please, if any question, you can drop me emails. Today we are doing second lesson, and I'm recording this lesson as well. So second lesson, welcome everyone, and we'll start. So as you know, my name is Anjum Sattar is my email address. The unit title we are delivering is called Business Environment, and we'll move next now. What do we know about the economics environment, fiscal and monetary policy? Anybody knows about the economics environment? Okay. So during our last lesson, we'll discuss about pest and the pestal forces, which is political, economic, social, and technological environment. Further, now we are focusing and looking more in detail economics environment. Under economic environment, we're looking fiscal and monetary policy in detail, because our major learning outcome 2 assessment criteria 2.1, 2, and 3 is all about, the key focus is on the fiscal and monetary policy and the business activities. So which we'll go through. Okay, what is meant by business? The organization effort of individual to produce and sell for a profit the goods and services that satisfy the society needs. So we call it a business. So business is all about satisfying the needs. Yes. society needs. So seek to make a profit. So business have an objective to seek the profit through the individual working toward the common goal. First, provide a service, product or the good that meets the needs of the society. So we need to look around, meet the needs of the society. So is it wider interest of the public is the business. So if the business is doing in their just in their own, that's not a good. So we need to look around. We need to look around the business interest. Okay. So as a welfare of the society, the sake of the few businessmen becoming millionaire. Yes, so we can earn the profit, no harm of it, but we need to look around the best interest of the wider public. So business and organization are the economic system where the goods and services are exchanged for one another, or are for money. So in the past, we used to be a barter system where goods and services exchange with the goods and services, but now, of course, more acceptable is the money we give and we can get the goods. So every business requires some form of investment and enough customer to whom output can be sold on the consistently basis in order to make a profit. A business can be private owned. Business can be private owned, not for the profit, at the state owned. And example of the corporate business is a PepsiCo, that's a public limited. So we can go through as well. Anybody any question? So what's happened with these companies? Big W's, Peacock and various other, these are liquidated due to the economic system within a business and economic situation that lead them to be out of the business. So we need to understand the economics environment is quite crucial to understand if you want to be sustained in a business. So when we're looking the economics environment, we're looking the fiscal policy. Fiscal policy is a policy of the government, where government can inject more money, government can withdraw the money from the economy, government can increase or decrease the taxes within economy, and the direct indirect taxes. Last lesson I have mentioned as well, value added tax, VAT, sale tax. So we used to be 15% and 17.5. Now we have a 20%. So direct indirect taxes always is controlled by a government spending, borrowing, and always this government, conservative government, is cutting more and to want to reduce deficit of the budget. So that's the policy, the fiscal policy of current government. So when we're looking inflation and deflation, I think so you all well aware of inflation mean the persistent increase in the price index. Deflation mean the persistent decrease in the price index. Monetary policy is the policy of the central bank. In some country we call state bank. So which will control the circulation, supply and demand of the money. Supply and demand. So if we have a high demand of the money, if we don't have a supply, then of course the currency value will be very, very high, and the foreign exchange rate can be very high. So we need to look around to meet the economy's need. We produce the notes and the currencies according to the requirement, and by keeping in view of the reserve, foreign currency, gold reserve, and the balance of payment. So these will go through more details in further slides. Employment rate within the country, that's we need to look around under economics environment. Unemployment rate, we significant drop in the UK, like the 4%, less than 4%. It used to be 6-7% unemployment. So unemployment lower mean always good. It means boosting the economic activity. Welfare consideration, we need to look around regional industrial policies. We need to look around business cycle. Business is at boom stage, at the recovery stage, and those stages which we'll discuss during this lesson as well. Anybody any question? Gross domestic product is mean the national income, so which we'll go through for the slide. Anybody any questions? So feel free and drop me email if you just listening and watching this lesson. So economics environment consists of the external factor in a business, market, and the broader economy that can influence the business. That can be divided the economics environment into microeconomics within a country, and micro is a big we're looking in all the. So micro and macro, During our last lesson as well, I mentioned you the micro environment influence the broader economic factor that either direct or indirect affect the entire economy and all participants, including your business. These factors include the interest rate, tax, inflation, foreign currencies, consumer uh, and income saving rates and consumer confidence level, unemployment rate, recession, uh, so all these of these things is come under the microeconomics environment. When we look in the microeconomics, micro means small. We're looking the within a country in the small scale. Uh, so micro and macro. So first we're looking. So guys, if you want to listen and the difference between micro and micro environment, slow economy. So just a quick show you. Sorry, my computer's a bit running slow, so let's copy this link. I'll just want to demonstrate you. So if you copy this link and copy this link in search box, so you can watch this video. It's quite good, it's what's happened, why the slow economy, how the economic system is linked with each other. One country's slow economy, how impacted the other. So when we're looking the environment, microeconomics environment, so it's quite good to be because different economies of the world is quite linked. It's only 1 minute and 37 seconds this video. Okay. So guys, everyone, if you really want to find more information, always consult, World Bank data. That will help you to further understand, in detail. So fiscal policy is a government revenue, taxation, and the spending policy designed to counter the economic cycle in order to achieve the lower unemployment, achieve the lower or no inflation, and achieve the sustain but control economic growth. In recession, the government stimulate the economy with the deficit spending, expenditures exceeding revenue during the period of the expansion, then restrain a fast-growing economy with the higher taxes and aims to be surplus revenue exceed the expenditures. One of the great scholars, Keynesian theory, Keynes, Maynard Keynes, also known as the Keynesian economics, and this theory is basically states that government can influence the microeconomics productivity level by increasing or decreasing the tax levels within a country, public spending. Cutting the public spending will slow down the economy, like which is happening in the UK now, to cover the deficit. But Labour have a different thought, and other political parties in UK. So we need to look around these, have a consequences. So when we looking the fiscal policy, we looking the government spending, economic activity, low employment rate, government spending, capital expenditure. What is meant by capital expenditure? Capital expenditures mean any asset which we are buying it, like land, building, infrastructure we are developing, like during recession even we're injecting more money, your big road, your big projects, and those are called capital expenditure. But in the long run, that will help to boost the economic situation, economic activities within a country. So borrowing, of course, we borrow the money sometime in the fiscal to settle the fiscal policy, and government inject more money to be protect the jobs. Even in the credit crunch 2008, and the Northern Rock, initially government injected money and various banks, to protect the jobs and the economy. So government policies, these are always, like steel, Tata Steels and various others. When in the past, the government jump in and injected some money and they make some commitments. So always we need to look around these things. These are ultimately leads depend upon the nature of industry which we are in. So the budget deficit, annual difference between the government spending and the taxes. The UK government run the budget deficit each year. That in 2007-8, and that was the 40 million, just over 3% of the GDP. Then they try to reduce it. No, it's around percent. Still is a difference. And so government spending and the government tax revenue, there is a difference. You will see by this graph as well. And government through fiscal policy try to adjust it. These differences is the gap, between unemployment. Of course, that will impact as well. Unemployment can be a bit higher. It can be lower when in government injecting or spending more money. Anybody, any question? So fiscal policy is a tax spending, increase in government spending, inflation, decrease in government spending, increase in taxes, and what impact will be on the inflation and real output. So anybody's increase in government spending, increase in inflation, and the real output can be up. So decrease in government spending, decrease the inflation, and down the real output. Increase the taxes, the inflation, and down the real output. Decrease the taxes, increase the inflation, and real output can be increased. So these are the measures really government can be, what impact can be. So we need, it's a clearly indicator that the inflation and the real output, real productivity can be up and down by just, cutting and increasing the government spending. So next policy we are looking is called monetary policy. Monetary policy is the policy of the central bank. We also call the state bank. On the other hand, likely the money or the mechanism which the money is supplied to and circulate in an economy, interest rate being changed in have an implication for the business activity. Lower interest rate encourage the firms to invest as the cost of borrowing fall, related to the public revenue, taxation, and public spending, debt, and finances. But in the monetary policy is related to the supply and demand of the money. So policy stability, supply of money, economic activities, interest rate, and the policy of the central bank. So these all is leads to the okay. Next we'll see their government spending figures in different years, and we'll see next graph is going what the fiscal and monetary policy differences. So please guys go through these, that will help us to clear the concept. So fiscal policy is the federal government, is what we call central government. Monetary policy is managing money supply, influence the interest rate. What is the base rate now in UK? What is the base rate? Base rate mean the basic interest rate of the central bank, or all economic activities is linked with the base rate. When the base rate increases, it means the when we borrow the money from the bank in the higher interest rate, it means the borrowing cost will increase, and ultimately there will be a lot of money going towards interest, towards the bank. Or we need to be look around this if the base rate increase, and a low interest rate will boost the economic because people not prefer to be deposit their money in their bank's account. People prefer to be invest money in the businesses. Ultimately, the business activities will boost, and but the low interest rate is pensioner they want to be because they don't want to be invest in the business. They want to be keep the money in the banks. So that's all the concept, benefit or disadvantages and disadvantages of each policies or each action. We have the government the state bank also increase and decrease the reserve of the commercial bank. All the commercial bank, the money we deposit in the bank, that going back to the central bank, because central bank have a some reserve of the commercial bank. So then the commercial bank not reborrow the money or not giving loan to the public all the money. For suppose if you deposit £100 in a bank, the £100 the commercial bank not lend it out. They lend it out maybe 60-80% because 20-40% reserve need to be maintained with the central bank, which we also call the state bank in other part of the world. So this the mechanism will help in case of the commercial bank default. So at least some reserve with the central bank, and the central bank have a guarantee and giving license that their money, public money, is secure with the commercial banks. Okay, anybody any question, guys? If any question, drop me email, or because of course fiscal policy is based on the theories of British economists and also known as the Canadian economics. That's all about tax levels and things which will go to government spending. So okay, if we'll see the real GDP, unemployment rate, inflation, and selected in the Middle Eastern countries, 2010, Egypt real GDP, and then Iran, Iraq, Jordan, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia. We'll see unemployment. We'll see there is unemployment is quite 10%, 10.8% unemployment rate in the Saudi Arabia, which is quite known as a quite rich country in terms of oil and thing. But look around the unemployment figures, so that is alarming. Inflation, yes, is a 4.1%. That was in 2010. And we can find latest figures if you just log on World Bank data, and you can find any company, any figures there. For your assignment purposes, you can include these, and ultimately these impact on the businesses. So when we want to decide or we want to go in other part of the world to do a business, so we need to be focused on these points. Monitoring economics environment is quite crucial. We need to monitor. If we monitor it, that's quite good. Monitoring economics environment leads to the higher sustainability for the business in a point of view as well. We'll go through next. Anybody any question? If you have, drop me email, please. So next we're looking, okay, when we're looking the economics environment consists of the organization and sold. When looking the national economy, we're looking in terms of yes, a simplified national economy consists of the organization and a household. Organization need inputs from employees which they take from, and then to return the organization provide output, wages, and the household then use the income to buy the product. That is economic cycle. So if disposable income in your 1 point, disposable income, propensity to save, propensity to consume, it means the change in the income. Normally when the income increase, individual income of the people not spend all the money. People have some, people can save it, consumer can save some money, or employees can save some money, and that money can be used some extra, and these will ultimately, is good for the economy. So the maintain the concern and elected government is achievement of economic growth, maintain the employment level, reducing unemployment, controlling inflation, and achieving a balance of payment. Balance of payment in terms of the import and export of the country. That's always, the new government always make the promises, and they reflect in terms of their manifesto. The flow of anybody, any question? Flow of money can be affected by other monies injected into the flow from export goods, government spending, and investment. Flow of money, it can also affect by the money being taken out of the flow through the saving, buying, and imported goods, and increase the taxes. Controlling inflation, the government has some control over these flow of the money, such as control of inflation, which is calculated by the mirroring the change in the retail price index. Any increase in the average price index, the government can track and take the measures to control the spending. High level of demand for the product and the services mean the organization have to take on more employees, and this turn mean that they have an increase in the price in order to pay the wages, and this is referred to as a demand pull inflation. Demand pull, because due to the demand as the inflation is high, and other type of inflation we can call cost pull inflation. So demand pull and cost push. However, the prices increase, employees need more money to be able to continue buying the product and the services. Therefore, they require to pay increase, and which increase the pay ultimately increase the cost of the business. And this type of inflation is called cost push inflation. Okay, controlling, government try to control inflation through the manipulate interest rate. Higher interest rate mean those with the mortgage and the credit need to pay more and have a less to spend. And what happened to the interest rate in the UK, and what effect at the housing market? Of course, demand will be lower when higher interest rate. Controlling level of employment, government aim to keep as many of the population of working age as possible in employment, and this can is difficult due to the number of factors such as a mismatch of skills and abilities, peaks and troughs in demand levels, unreasonable wages demand. So we can do activity when we want to look around any organization, any country. Really, we want to do the business, so we can look around inflation rate, GDP rate, per capita income, unemployment rate, interest rate, which is the base interest, balance of payment. If you go on the website, please, World Bank data, we can find these figures. So next we're looking the business cycle. Business cycle, of course, it is important to recognize the output from the national economy don't rise or fall at the uniform rate, and the economies only experience a cycle where the rate of growth for the production, income, and spending fluctuate over the time. So the cycle of the business can be boom, depression, it means slump, economy, recession, and recovery. These are the four stages of the business cycle. Recession occurred due to the fall in the national output, which leads to the reduction in employment, disposable income, and the profit. When the GDP reach at the lowest point at the end of the recession, economies reach a throw, and this is signal that the recovery is imminent. So then recessions key declining the demand for the national output, rising unemployment, shortfall in the business confidence and profit, and reduce inflationary pressures and falling the demand for the imports, and increase the government borrowing at the lower interest rate from the central bank. Then recovery. So all these are the different stages, guys. Please go through these slides. That will help you to clear further your concept. I'm not reading all the slides, but that will help you. These are the stages. Boom is, of course, high level of consumer spending, business confidence can be high. The boom stage, boom, boom, boom. Yes, so it's quite good for the depression. Is slow down the economy occur when the rate of growth decelerate, and but the national output is still rising, and that could be leads to this. So we need to look around why depression very weak, consumer spending, many businesses failure, rapid rising unemployment, and the prices maybe start falling, and the deflation, right, has happened in the past year. So when we have a deflation in the economy, the trust trust of the businesses, because they are losing money, of course they can try to close their businesses and changing the industries of taking out the investment from the business. So meeting the economic growth and decline, gross domestic product, employment levels, business output levels, average earning levels, disposable incomes, all these, the key indicators towards. Okay. Of course, you can do in groups. We're not doing class-based learning, but that task, we can complete our own. In your group, develop an analysis of the economic factor impacting the Tesco. Tesco is one of the big UK supermarket. Is selling different type of, have a quite world presence in international businesses as well. They have an operation in various countries like India and China and rest of the world. So it's already, I uploaded the case study during lesson 1 as well, which is quite good to look around when you do the lesson LO-2 as well, McCann's food. The case study is quite good to go through in detail. That will help you to clear your concept. Okay. ABC business is activity. By using the activity, look on the facts and figures. So just either ABC expand the business or not in the UK. So I have set up activity for you with some facts and figures, and just follow the Moodle. And if you look the Moodle, that's facts and figure, like GDP in UK, unemployment in the UK. So then you can, on the basis of this, you can suggest if the ABC Limited need to be invest the money in the UK or not, based on your own economic situation. Because some people are, some businesses, they are take high risk, maybe think, or even is a slow economy, they can still, like in recession 2008 to 10, like Poundland and veg supermarket, their growth rate was higher than the big supermarket. So that maybe as a business person, we are taking higher risk. In business, we say higher risk mean higher reward. So that's it's as a business individual decision can be made. So please look around this document called ABC Limited. I put it there. LO-2 is this activity. You can and use some facts and figure. If you want to embed within your assignment, you can do so as well. So next, guys, this is the quiz. Normally I do quiz end of the lesson. So this is the quiz which really quite good. You just copy the link and go through, and the end of the quiz, you can view it and you will find all the answer if you went wrong. and just think about that will clear your monetary policy, fiscal policy, and economic situation or economic factor. If you want to be further enhance your understanding or you have any questions, so please drop me emails. And if you want to further enhance your understanding in terms of the business environment, economic factors, please do not hesitate to drop me email. Plus, you go through all these, the website, those are quite good, quite useful to enhance further our understanding about business and economics environment. So next, I'll quick, show you our LO-2 and we'll pick, the points, which we can discuss. So we discuss about monetary and fiscal policy, interest rate, quantitative easing, and these are things, all come under economic situation. Competitive policies, choosing organization, how many competitors we have, what type of the environment we are doing business. If we don't bring the innovation, of course, will be very hard to sustain in a business. Think about the Nokia phone is not anymore. It used to be world leading brand. Why not? Because that's why due to the innovation, research and development cost was cut off, and the CEO of the company, that decision leads to the Nokia out of the business. So we need to think about when we are making the decision, economics have a short term as a long term consequences as well for the organizations. So competition in the market, we look around, improve the market, contribution to efficiency. Contribution normally we call selling price minus variable cost. What is a contribution? As a contribution to efficiencies, we need to look around. In some countries, employees productivity, the efficiency is higher than. So maybe we need to think about how we can improve. Provide the training and things as well to our employees. So 4 pillar of the competition policies in the UK. European Union, of course, cartel is illegal. In some countries, the companies come together, they can fix the price. That is called the cartel. Cartel is illegal in terms of the competition commission. So they fix it. You charge same price, I'll charge same price. You do in this area, I'll do in another area. That's called cartel. So cartel is illegal. Market liberalization. So market need to be liberalized. Yes, market forces control the price, not the individual. State aid control. Yes, government can control, regulate the industry, but the market forces which can decide the price. Merger is mean two companies come together and merge for the common purposes. Competition Act we have, that's the regulatory. So under the Competition Act, we not allowed to fix the price. So Enterprise Act 2000. Organization need to behave and work with the best interest of the public. European Commission, EU legislation need to be followed in the UK and the rest part of the EU. Office of the Fair Trade, the trade need to be fair. It need to be not the fake good need to be fit for purpose. If any question, any problem, if they like in the past it happened, the Tesco was selling strawberry. Actually, they advertised the strawberry price is 50% drop from £1.50, but actually they used to charge 80 pence instead of 75 pence because 50% of 150 is supposed to be 75 pence. Then, of course, that case went to, and then ultimately been fined and been that money being donated to the charity. So that's sort of we need to look around. Office of Gas Electricity is called OTHM. That's a regulator. Every industry in the UK have a watchdog. Watchdog mean the regulator. Office of the Water. So that is called Ofwat. Civil Aviation Authority, that regulate the airline industries and civil aviation, private aeroplanes and things. So Company Act, that regulate the companies. Enterprise Training and Skill Policies, Training and Skill Department, Education and Skill DIS. So we need to look around all these, their legislation. Those are the regulatory, depends which industry we are. So always we need to be find who is our regulators, what sort of the policy they have, we have to follow. And the economic factor point of view, we need to look around the government. We need to look around the monetary policy of the country, fiscal policy of the country before entering or making, business or deciding to be entering any other part of the country. Okay, anybody any questions? So please. So today factor we learn about what is the difference between fiscal and monetary policy, competition, and how the fiscal and policies, monetary policies are different, and why those are crucial. And we learn about the business cycle, different stages. Those are the 4 stages, and we learn about some legislations as well. So just drop me email. Have a nice time. Lesson will be available on Moodle, and go through and start writing your assignment. Have a nice time and hope so speak you next week. Bye bye.